can't we agree that capitalism is an economic system, a system for the production and distribution of things we need and want?
I won't agree to that. Not until you say something about government, too.
Profoundly believe that one of the most problematic issues today is that we only justify public intervention to fix some sort of problem. We also talk about the role of the state as somehow just creating the framework conditions, right? Kind of, set a level playing field, fund the bridges and the roads and a bit of skills, a bit of education, and then get the hell out of the way. There's the whole point of government. It's not just to tinker, just make things a little bit better, a little bit worse, but to really do what's not being done at all. What we don't realize, and this is what I'm going to be really going through in the first half of the talk, is just how much, for example, in places like Silicon Valley, or all these places that have actually achieved innovation-led growth, public sector intervention went way beyond just investing in the kind of that basic science area. I often use the iPhone as the little theatrical gimmick when I talk about these things, because this is a typical, story that we hear of, the iPhone or the Facebooks or Amazons and all these great companies coming out of the US. And we ask ourselves in Europe, why are they coming out of the US and not out of Europe? Actually, the big difference is that we have just as many surfers in Europe. We simply don't have that massive wave that the surfers in the US could surf. And in fact, what the iPhone did was very much surf a massive wave of publicly funded technology, which then allowed this particular smartphone, but all smartphones, to be smart and not idiotic. In other words, everything you can do with that phone, from search the web, to know where you are with GPS, to use touchscreen, to use the voice-activated Siri system, all those four technologies were actively funded by different types of government institutions. We used to have a much better deal between government and business. Just think of, say, Bell Labs. Bell Labs was a very innovative laboratory within AT&T, which was a private company. AT&T was a monopoly in the 1920s. Government was like, you know what, we could bash you tomorrow. Through antitrust policy, we could go after you. But if you reinvest your mega profits, and they were big profits because they were a monopoly, back into the real economy and into big innovation things, and we will help you, Bell Labs was very much co-funded by the state, then we'll lay off. And it's that kind of, if you want, deal that I think we're starving for today in an era in which we have record level hoarding. Over $2 trillion in the US is being hoarded by private companies. In Europe, we're I think, over $1.5 trillion. What we don't have is a proper partnership. We talk about ecosystems and we forget a key lesson from biology, which is that ecosystems can be mutualistic or parasitic. And one of the key lessons, I think, for innovation policy today should be how can we actually build more mutualistic public-private partnerships, more mutualistic ecosystems, as opposed to just obsessing over the word ecosystem as if by definition it's good, when actually, unless we have this kind of active, strategic, mission-oriented public sector, which then engages in a confident way with business, then it's not able to actually create this interesting public-private deals and partnerships, but actually just kind of gets messed up in the process and then wonders why we're getting more inequality and not that much innovation. And that's it. So